Okay, the time is 6:38. The Select Board entered into a meeting and a non-public meeting beginning at 5:30. While in non-public, we have been discussing coverage for our police force. Part of the purpose of non-public was just to discuss some safety kind of things that come up when we have coverage discussion. And we are going to continue our discussion now in public with regard to opportunities for hiring. Also, while in non-public, we did have a conversation about reviewing contract opportunities with other law enforcement agencies. Because it is with regard to a contract, I think it's worth maybe sealing those particular minutes just until we have some further information about that contract in particular. I would accept a motion to seal those minutes until we have updated contract information. Is there a second?
Second.
Any additional discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Our conversation right now is with regard to a step increase or step program for salary, and really focusing right on the here and now, the emergent issue, which is getting people in the door at an entry level. And so if we could pick up our conversation, I think we were around the $24 for an initial entry level step for a patrol officer.
Yep.
And there was some consideration of what a bonus might look like, sign-on versus paid out over a period of time.
So
Go
my
ahead.
suggestion was a $5,000 immediate sign-on bonus if you are certified, pending a background check and all qualified, state licensing things that need to be done for that, after 90 days.
Sign-on bonus of $5,000 after 90 days, as long as you are certified and pass all applicable background.
Correct.
Entry-level patrol officer at $24 an hour.
At $24 an hour. If you are not certified, that would be a separate motion. Never mind.
Yeah, so the motion is, and Herb, did I hear you say second?
I would, if you guys would accept a friendly amendment, I would like to put in there a clause that says you need to stay for 2 years. Of course, in public, I guess this isn't gonna make much difference now, but that way, hopefully, they do agree to stay for 2 years, and if not, we're really kind of, our hands are tied, but
Would that fall under?
The contract.
So, the contract.
Yeah, well, that's what I was actually, I think that our contract still should remain the same, right? And the contract includes a clause about
3
how
years.
long you're supposed to stay.
Right.
So if there's an agreement that it maintain a similar contract where there's a 2-year or 3-year signature.
I would, yes, except 3 years, James, if that's cool.
okay, yeah. that's
Perfect.
fine.
And her?
I'm sorry, Nat, did you say 3 or 2?
3,
3 years, stay for 3 years?
yes.
But Chan seconded. Chan, you agreeing to the amendment?
All right, there's a motion and a second, and that's going to include the beginning of a STEP program with an entry level of $24, and for the immediate future, a sign-on bonus of $5,000 paid after the first 90 days, and pending that you're certified and all of your other background checks come back.
To be used out of ARPA funds.
To be used out of ARPA funds, thank you, with a 3-year contract as usual. Any additional discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Motion carries. I think also as takeaway, we are going to continue to work on the step increase salary scale. I'll probably call it a salary scale 100 times before I call it step. As we work to stabilize the department and offer some more long-term planning for bringing people in the door, officers in the door, and keeping officers here. Part of that conversation will also include where our current salaries are for our current employees and how they fall into that step. Am I missing anything?
Did we want to also address the uncertified officer sign-on bonus, or do we not want to address that at this time? I mean, they could get a bonus after they complete the
Right.
academy.
Right. So what's your thought process on that, Nat? Bring us through a discussion.
It would be maybe $5,000 bonus, with a contract with us for 3 years after completion of the academy. No, that was for certified
This is
officers.
certified. So this is if we bring somebody brand new in, uncertified, that's going to go through the academy.
You're not gonna pay him $24 to come in uncertified.
No.
You're only gonna pay a guy that's certified $24.
Right, so that's actually,
Doesn't
Yeah.
make a lot of sense.
No,
no,
you're
it
right.
doesn't,
You're
but,
right.
Herb, you bring up something that I hadn't really considered, and that would be having a step in play for the uncertified heading into the academy. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's where the step process.
Yeah.
Step grade comes into play, because I could bring them in and say, based on their experience, if I have someone with 5 years on the job that has technical experience, I'm gonna bring them in at step 1 at $24, I'm gonna bring them in at step 5 or 6.
Right.
And something obviously the board would have to agree upon, but it provides some incentive, and again, there's some stability, it's based on experience, it's not because I know somebody or I don't like somebody, we're all gonna come in and they meet this criteria, we're gonna go by. If they were a lieutenant at another job, they want to come in as a sergeant, we go to the sergeant pay scale and bring them in as a step 3 on the sergeant pay scale as opposed to a step 1 on the sergeant. So it depends what position is that you need to fill, but as long as we have those steps and standardize it, it's even and fair to everybody.
Right, I agree with you. That's,
You just need to determine what your increase is per step, if it's $1 an hour, whatever.
Right.
It could be, or a couple of grand increase each year, which is pretty much standard. You're looking at roughly 3%, or pretty close to it. Actually, it's a little over 3% for $1 an hour. So, but that's reasonable. You find that by 40 hours a week, by 52, and that's what you're looking at for an increase. But at least the officers will know long term, like we discussed,
and where they're gonna
whether
be.
they're going to be 5 minutes down the road, 10 minutes down the road.
I did want to just real quick, are we still going to keep the $6,000 over 3 years just because other towns still have that in place?
I think that was more geared towards already certified officers who
Right.
might be coming in from another area so I don't think anything, my opinion would be, we took no action that changes that process and to
Okay, so that
continue.
would be in addition to, the one that we
They're
just
actually
voted
gonna
on.
get $11,000 in 3 years? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
If they came in certified
certified, yes.
and stay all 3 of those years, there
Yep.
would be an initial sign-on bonus. There would be a bonus at the end of years 1, 2, and 3.
So hopefully that puts us at a good position compared to surrounding towns. So hopefully we could retain some officers for longer. And just a reminder that this money is coming out of the ARPA funds.
All right. Was there any additional discussion about this particular topic? All right. Hearing none, I'd like, did you have a question?
When are we going to post the job?
Tomorrow.
Yeah, I think we could go ahead and,
Who is posting it? Me?
it's gonna go, I just want to be clear, it's gonna go on the town Facebook page, and we're going to boost from there, correct?
How much money would we like to agree to boost it for?
Isn't the first level like $25?
Oh, you could boost for 100 if you want, straight off the bat.
Yeah, I like that.
What's that get you, the $100?
So it depends on how we want to boost it. So we could boost by geographic area, so I would suggest that we boost it anything within a 50-mile radius.
Yep,
And then we could put in keywords like law enforcement,
Job
America,
opportunities.
Job opportunities, stuff, so it pinpoints people specifically on
No.
social media.
What's 100, now, what kind of time frame is that in?
So I could do $20 for 5 days, 5 days each. I could do, $5 till we get to 100. We just have to pick on,
Is that so much a day?
Yeah, so it's how much ever we want to spend a day, right? The more money you spend a day, the more the algorithm works for you.
Right. So we could do $20 a day for 5
days.
days and see what we end up with at the end, or we could do $20 a day until our next meeting.
Right.
And you could reassess to see what kind of hits and how far the reach.
It's gonna cost you at the end, I mean,
Yeah, it's a set amount.
It's a set amount,
It's a
yeah.
set amount.
but is that gonna get us where we need to be? That's what
Oh,
Well, we won't know until we try, but
Yeah.
I think that'll definitely help more so than the newspaper ever will.
yes.
Why don't, I mean, let's try that like $20 a day for 7 days for the week and see what we get for response. And if that doesn't work, then maybe we're gonna have to try something different, but.
Is that your motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion.
I'll sec-
$20 a day for 7 days.
I'll second that.
Any additional discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
It's $140.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Chief, well, you're gonna tell me when you want me to come meet with you, but, I'm gonna just need like a specific job description from you in order to be able to post it.
Yeah, whatever you've,
Great. Yeah, right. Right. Oh, yeah, no.
Yes, yeah,
There's no restriction on, yeah.
yeah. There's no line restriction.
Yeah.
And there's ways of encouraging people to click the button so that everything expands.
Yep, and just so the residents know that are watching, the more that the post is shared, the more likely it is that it helps the algorithm to reach more people.
Right, so if you see something coming off the town of Winchester and you can share it onto your own page, it helps the reach.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, was there anything else about this particular topic? I'd like to,
Thank you. I mean,
thank you very much, Chief, for
Thank
giving
you,
us some
Chief.
time this afternoon, greatly appreciate it. All right, I'd like to move on to regular business. First up, and that we've been sitting here forever, are our minutes from June 29th. Any discussion or addition, changes? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Motion carries. All right. There's actually a couple of quick things. First up is a letter from, I think this is a resident, correct?
Correct.
Okay, Mr. Barstow isn't, okay, in any other, yeah, so they're looking for a name change on the Lakeshore Drive. Also attached is a reason that Lakeshore Drive was changed to Upper Headlands Road in 2005. Up to date, it's not caused any issues or concerns, but could lead to an issue, so it becomes we don't, like the GPS can't figure out where they're going.
Not the case, because.
No, yeah, I look-
You can pull it up on GPS and it will send you.
It sends you right
way.
there.
Okay,
I understand their concern on that part, though. I mean, yeah, the GPS pulls it up, but if you're driving out Forest Lake Road, you see Lakeshore Drive, you don't see a sign that says Upper Headlands Road because it's a half mile out the road.
beyond the head.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, could it be a
Why was
simple?
it changed from
Gilbert
Lakeshore to
Graff.
Upper Headlands?
Gilbert Graff wanted
He wanted to change.
Well, that and it used to be, Headlands used to connect all the way down
Yes,
the road.
that's right. Yeah, come out off.
So that was an issue when it got closed off.
And this is a private road, correct?
It is a private road. I mean, I don't know, could it be as simple as just putting a sign at the end of the road?
Yeah, I know, that's confusing too, though, right? Because then you got two.
I believe that you have to notify the state and all the maps have to change and then all the GPSs have
This
to
is
also be
already-
amended.
This is
and-
already, in with the 911 system then.
It is.
I'm gonna make a motion that we leave it as Upper Headlands Road.
excuse me, I'm sorry. I will second for discussion. Just for discussion, because I have more, if you have a question, I have a question too, so if you. So, I would also think, no part of this particular change would go before like the zoning board for review or,
The only, if it's related to E911 and emergency services, the board has the authority to name change.
thank you.
That's what I was gonna ask. Is this gonna affect our 911 system now? They're set up now for Lake Shore Road, right?
Is Upper Headlands
Oh,
Road in the
yes.
system. So if we change it, then somebody's gonna be responsible to change it to,
Right.
Right.
And the other piece too, there's 8 or 9 people at the other end on Upper Headlands, and there's only 1 or 2 that are there fully all year round.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
What was your motion, James?
The motion was to leave it. And
Leave it?
I seconded for discussion. So far, the discussion has confirmed that how it is now is how it's set up with 911. There seems like there was an isolated incident. Has that isolated incident been addressed?
I guess when they called dispatch through
Yeah.
mutual aid, there was a little confusion, which kind of made them think that
Okay.
maybe this could be an ongoing issue.
So I think,
Maybe there's an opportunity to follow
just
up.
with mutual aid.
Yes.
yeah, I think we'll follow up with mutual aid. I think maybe the confusion was because the road was cut off in the middle and they went down one side and they were supposed to be on the other side. So I
There
think,
was no, it was at mutual aid, the dispatcher. It had nothing to do with EMS or
Oh, it
Deluzio
wasn't?
getting there.
Gotcha.
They went to the right place.
They knew where they were going.
Yes.
Gotcha. So a follow-up with dispatch just to make sure that that particular issue has been resolved, and otherwise
That is my
the motion is to keep it the same. The second, any additional discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None, motion carries. We will follow up with dispatch, though, and make sure that that is not an ongoing issue. And that's what I wondered, locally, our EMS and Deluzio knew where they were going, but we
That is
want to
my
make sure that everybody knows where they are going. All right, next up is our annual letter, memorandum of understanding with the Winchester School. This is with regard to providing the safe and healthy school environment for students and staff. This is what we sign every year, correct?
It's nothing that we sign as a board, the police department signs off.
This is the safety, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I didn't want to say too much about it because I knew it was the safety plan, so I
Yes,
didn't want to.
do we need a motion to approve that?
No.
No, because the police department has already gone through. Perfect,
Right.
thank you.
So it's just more of an informational FYI.
Yep.
I see it on the other side, so I was a little thrown off on this side. And then Carrie, I have to admit, I didn't,
I read it and
Non-public.
it is non-public.
oh, both of them were? Oh, so I apologize, that was my bad because I thought that it was part of this folder.
I should have probably wrote non-public on it.
That's, yep, I'm actually, perfect. Okay. Then I didn't miss anything?
No.
Nope, that's it. No,
We have, nice try. I mean,
Nice try, Jane.
I would love that. I have a list. I would love that, but we have other things real quick. Carrie, do you have anything?
I have a couple of things.
Okay.
Kenny from the distillery across the street called me today. He's looking to do an event on July, I think it's 17th. So that would be, it's a Sunday, which I believe is the 17th of July. He wants to put on like a jump roping show and have a bunch of kids come and do a bunch of jump roping. But he wants to use like a little bit of our side yard here by the monument into our driveway, our parking lot.
It's a Sunday?
It's a Sunday, there's nothing going on, there's no traffic, I don't see any.
They have, is it an event that requires them to have insurance, or would it be under their general business?
I can ask that question.
If we could clarify, I just want to make sure that that particular point is.
Whatever the event they have will be
Yes.
covered under their insurance, yep.
Motion to approve the request as long as the insurance is covered under his business.
I second that.
Additional discussion, Nat, did you have
So,
a
yeah,
question?
he would just need to have a COI, because I remember when Access did anything on town, he just needs to provide us a certificate of insurance, listing the town as the insured.
All right, there's a motion, a second, and discussion has been had. Anything else? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Motion carries. Carrie, did you have anything else?
One other update, not really an update, but a clarification, I should say. A couple of weeks ago, we had talked about 32 Main Street in regards, Asheville at Main Street, in regards to their water is currently off at this home There's a lot of damage inside. We spoke a little bit further the last week in regards to, she would like to turn the water on for a class that she wants to have.
The what she
So
wants
she
to
was
have?
a class. So the building is separated, it's like a duplex situation.
Mhm.
It's more of an upstairs, downstairs. The upstairs you can't get to because the staircase is collapsed and the floor is collapsed. So where I thought the construction piece was coming into, she doesn't have any plans to remodel or do anything, but she wants to have a class in the other side, which is
Habitable?
livable and you can get in there. But the problem is if she turns her water on, then she's gonna get hit with all the other fees.
Doesn't it, I don't, but doesn't it still become the same thing? She needs to have that property updated to a single family or work out, however that works out with,
Yep.
with land use and zoning, because we can't, if we make an exception like that, then everything becomes an exception.
Yep.
Everybody else wants their water turned on.
We only want water on this side of the house and not that side of the house. That
Yeah.
becomes a nightmare for
If
our,
one side of the house is basically not inhabitable, why would I authorize her to have a class in there with people that could come in there?
well, that was a whole
could cause
separate
people-
conversation. I wasn't gonna
That's a
get into
whole
that one.
different conversation
Which is not our
there.
problem.
Right, that is not our
It is,
problem.
if you sign that, you say, yes, you can have a class because we turned on the water,
Yeah,
then
She-
we
she has
kind
a
of
point.
can become liable because we
Yeah.
like,
yeah.
well, the board of
She has a
selectmen
point, yeah.
authorized us to have a
So
class
motion
there.
to deny-
We didn't authorize her to have a class. I'm authorizing whether to turn the water on and
motion
cut the
to
fee.
deny turning water on then. Enter
Well, I don't,
into-
is it, I don't even know if
Well,
it's
no,
something-
it's not the fact that she can turn her water on, she's just gonna get hit with the fees.
Right, exactly.
She doesn't want the fees, the additional fees.
Well,
That's the problem, not
Yeah.
with turning the water on. She can turn her water on or whatever she wants to.
Right,
It's the fee piece. She doesn't wanna be
Right.
hit with 2 or 3 $50 flat rate unit fees.
right. And I
For-
don't, I think that has to
So,
follow.
Yeah.
so that's because the water, she has multiple meters?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay,
Multiple
okay.
apartments,
Okay.
Yeah.
or units.
I mean,
Yeah.
you still have to pay someone to go down there to turn it on and turn it off again
Yep.
later.
Which
Yeah.
is, that would be,
I think that's part of the fee.
Yep,
well, she definitely would pay that.
Yeah.
It's just the additional for the space that can't be used.
yep.
So
Oh.
it's a denied. Okay, easy enough.
Anything else, Carrie?
Nope.
Anything
Do
from?
we need to vote on that?
the, well, we had already
We already
made the
denied it.
decision that we were not going to waive that fee.
Okay.
And so she asked again, but I don't think it changes.
So because she's gonna, I'm just a little bit confused. So she has the one apartment that is not inhabitable, that has its own separate water meter. She has a part that's habitable that,
It's not a separate meter, it's a separate fee. You have one meter, and if you have multiple units that have kitchens, that's considered a unit.
Yep.
Every unit, you get charged a flat rate fee.
Yeah.
There's only one turn-on spot, but there are multiple meters after that, so.
So she can turn on the water at any point in time. What she wants is to not be charged the fee for the
For the one that's
For all the
uninhabited.
additional uninhabitable space, units that cannot be used.
I mean, that, to me, that sounds like a courtesy for the one that's not inhabitable, if she's gonna turn the.
But at what point in time does it become habitable that we're not aware of and water is being used that we've graciously offered to waive the fee for?
But we can't just cap that one meter?
It's only one meter.
One curb stop for multiple meters.
Really? For
Yes.
multiple dwellings?
Yes.
Really?
Because the landlord's responsible for the water.
Right.
Yep.
Get out of town.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, so if there's
make
no
the
prospect of that property
No, I
becoming
understand, yeah.
multifamily again, then perhaps the option is to make it a single family and then that fee goes away. And if she ever has a prospect of making it multifamily again, address that with avatars
So
again.
does a homeowner as a multiple, like a two-family house, do they have the option to have 2 meters?
Not by the town. They have to put the meters in. We do
They
not.
have to put them in. but
Right,
that
so
is
she
an
could put a
option.
second meter, I guess that's a good point. She
Yeah.
could go through the process of putting a
Yeah.
second meter on the house,
Right.
She's still gotta pay.
but there's still a fee
No,
for
no,
that.
that part I get now.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was just trying
Yeah.
to dive into the rest of it. Okay,
Yeah.
no, thank you.
Yep. Anything else from Carrie?
Nope.
Anything else from the board?
I do. So broadband committee met with Consolidated Communications last night. They had asked us to write a letter of support. So the broadband committee is going to write a letter of support to give to the select board next week in the hopes that we could send it over. The reason for the letter of support is that there's a current grant out there for $50 million that technically they lose points for because they're not a cooperative. So they're asking multiple towns, towns all around us that they are filling out this grant for. So all these towns are going to write letters to submit to the state in hopes that they award the chunk of money to CCI, so that would actually offset our bond. So if any residents out there that are listening have connectivity issues, broadband is still coming to you, but a letter of support and/or a personal story as to why you need broadband would be helpful. And you could send that directly to my email, which is NQUEV like Victor, ED like David, O at winchester.newhampshire.gov. And we will put those together in a packet. If you could also just send it to me over Facebook if you'd like, or send it to Carrie if you didn't understand the spelling of my name, and Carrie will forward it to me. Or if there's any businesses out there who would also benefit from broadband, those letters of support would be appreciated.
So just for some clarification, what it is it's additional grant money available, but the government would like it to be awarded to different company. And our issue is we only have so many companies to take on this business, and that is why the greater community towns are writing in favor of Consolidated, because this is the company that has been the most willing to work with us, and we want them to continue the business. Correct?
We
Okay.
also want to offset some of our bonds.
And we desperately want to offset whatever we can from the bonds, so the
Right.
more we can get in a grant, the better. All right?
Exactly.
Anything else from the board?
No, nothing from me.
Public comment?
I did have one more thing, but now I forgot what it was.
I'm sorry, did you have one more thing?
I did have one.
I apologize.
Oh, yes, I remember. Different hat. The director of Access is leaving the program to pursue her internship for her master's degree. We are very sad to see her go, but she is still going to be very much a part of Access. She will still continue to work part-time, and she's also going to fill out a application for the board of directors. So she is invested in the program. She still wants to see it succeed. She just would like to focus on her degree a little bit more. So Access is currently hiring multiple positions. If anybody does know of anybody, they have been posted on Facebook. Feel free to apply for that.
Thank you, Nat. Now you done?
Probably not.
Okay, well, moving on just the same. Public comment. Jenny, did you have something? If you could step up to the mic, that'd be great.
That's a book. Where are you?
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. So for the record, I am here as Representative Rhodes. I represent Cheshire 15, which is Winchester, Richmond, Marlborough, Swansea, and Troy. And I came with a legislative update for the end of our legislative session. So as you can imagine, there are a lot of bills that get passed in 2 years' time. So I try to stick to ones that are going to affect the municipalities in general. So on a side note, I had the opportunity to represent New Hampshire on the Criminal Justice Committee in Portland a couple weeks ago for a criminal justice seminar. And one of the things that we talked about was how much trouble all towns across the nation are having with police and their police force. And I have it in my vehicle, I didn't bring it in, but there's one town in particular that they just could not keep staff, they couldn't keep a police chief, and they actually combined all of their first responders into one unit, and they have one director for all of it. I don't know if the state of New Hampshire allows that, because I know we have different rules that, require whether or not you have a police force or not. But I'd be more than happy to bring that paper into Carrie, and you're happy to look at it, because there's certainly nothing that I can do with it, but it might be helpful to you. Like I said, I'm not sure if we'd be able to do that or not. So the first half of the year, I served on the Criminal Justice Committee. And then the second half of the year, I served as the vice chairman on Executive Department's administration, and I was a permanent sub over on criminal justice. And then when it came that one of the members was not going to be able to come back because of an illness, they made me a permanent member. So I ended up serving on two committees the entire time, which was a lot, but it was done. And then I also had the opportunity to serve on 4 committee of conferences for this second half of the year. So it was a very busy season, and I learned a lot, things I didn't even know that I didn't know. So with that being said, for Winchester, the block grant that was part of the budget, Winchester received $119,102.37. However, there was HB 401, which was a bill that had a lot of things attached to it, and a lot of them were financials. Winchester, for their bridges, is going to receive, for 13 bridges, Winchester is going to receive an additional $192,235. For the meals and rooms tax, Winchester is going to receive an additional, from what they had been receiving, $99,582.41. Again, me being on the Criminal Justice Committee, there was a lot of things I advocated for really, really hard. One of the things that I had a conversation with Lindsay about at the school board was a bill that we did not want to get passed, which was going to make it legal for somebody to follow around state employees with a camera. That would have actually meant people that work at the school, so it would have turned to teachers. So we fought really hard and got that killed. They tried to bring it back on the floor, but we did not. That was just dead awful, and Lindsay can give you some of the details from it if she wants to later. So another thing that we did was provided $500,000 to victims of internet crimes for children. We increased the victims fund from $40,000 to $50,000. We also made it where if a person had been human trafficked, that they also are able to receive funds from the victim fund. And we made it where if you had been trafficked or if you are a victim of sexual assault, that there is no statute of limitations. You can apply for that whenever you want. There's increased money for body-worn cameras, and we also made it a crime, made it a misdemeanor for the disclosure of unsolicited disclosure of an intimate image. It's pretty disgraceful that people would send pictures through the internet and on the phone, but they do, and therefore we have to have a law now because of that. Okay, that's kind of the skinny on that. HB 1221, retirement. Carrie.
I had a long time.
So the state had a large surplus, and one of the things that was passed was, so Winchester will pay their total allotment for 2022, and then that fiscal year just closed on Friday, so there's actually going to be a reimbursement of 7.5% of whatever money was paid for Winchester for the retirement system, and that's going to include all of the teachers, and so it includes Group 1 teachers and Group 2 members. Another thing that was passed was 1587, which is it's determining how the final compensation is going to be made when a person's getting ready to retire. I don't have all the details on that. It's very, very confusing. But basically what they did was they took money from the fund and they kind of they top-loaded it. So now whenever they recalculate how a person is going to get their retirement, that lump sum money will be there to be able to pay that. Senate Bill 273, which is a broadband infrastructure funding bill, took away some of the confusion. So if a town was going to look to finance some of that funding, when you have your town hearing, you don't actually have to go to the court to get approval now to finance the money. You can just do that now. That's your all department. I don't understand that. Senate Bill 325 actually is defining what a first responder is and is also making first responders be part of the emergency management system, which was huge. And then another thing is, as far as municipality goes, was House Bill 536, which is making public works employees for municipalities and for state be eligible for death benefits if they're injured, if they're killed on the job, which I think was huge. And then Senate Bill 420 is a extraordinary needs grant for schools. It goes with the free and reduced lunch. So Winchester is actually going to receive an additional $108,647 for that. And then another bill, I thought it was on here, but I don't have it on here. I don't have the actual bill number, but basically they're using ARPA funds. So if a child was still in school that has an IEP when they're 21, their birthday kind of comes in the middle of the year. As it is right now, that's it. The day they turn 21, that's it. The school is no longer responsible for the funding of that education. So now that is actually going to go into the age of 22, and the state will be picking up all of the expense for that. And then any money that's left over there's supposed to be money for out-of-district placement kids that are court-ordered, which is going to be good. So that is what I have for you.
Jenny, can I get the amount for the free lunch? What was Winchester going to get? 108, is that what you said?
You can have this if you want.
Oh, thank you. I'd love to. You can help me with my minutes.
You're welcome.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
108.
Thank you, Lindsay.
Perfect. Bye, Jenny.
Bye, Jen.
There is no other public, and so public comments are now over. And we do still have some non-public business. So I would entertain a motion to enter back into non-public under RSA 91A. A, and I thought,
And E.
yep.
I remember what my other question was.
Yep, a motion and a second, and roll call vote. Teresa?
Aye.
Natalie?
Aye.
Herb? James?
Aye.
Lindsay, aye. We are now in non-public. I don't expect us to have any business
Well,
after.
She's gotta turn off the